in Dunmore East, as in most rural places in Ireland, I suppose, funerals in particular out here are a big thing in terms of celebrating someone's life. Unfortunately, a lot of very well-known locals passed away, and we weren't, as a village and as a community, weren't able to properly celebrate it.
We can't come together and do what we normally do. We can't come together and sing. We can't come together and heal through the singing. And he said, oh my God, when all this is over, we'll have to put on a concert or do something, not just for us to heal, but for the whole community to heal.
Death is very much part of, life, I suppose. We like to mark someone's passing. We haven't been able to do that. We haven't been able to commemorate those that we've lost through COVID or any other sort of illness.
We haven't really been able to sit down as a family yet and even talk about what's happened.
I suppose just observing a lot of people's grieving is done behind closed doors at this point, and how people are very silently grieving and feeling their pain.
Because I do feel like genuinely that there will be a very urgent need for work that addresses themes of death and dying and grief. Yeah, the Seed Grant is going to help me make a new piece of theatre that looks at issues around death and dying and loss, working with people who are facing end of life currently and those who work with the dying in palliative care settings.
Wouldn't it be really nice to have our own song? But the song really was about the group's particular experience, and I wanted it to be as collaborative as possible, and I wanted them to have ownership of it. They had to record it ourselves, which is new to everyone, because we're all just doing it at home. This is not a professional anything.
It's a public artwork called The House of Memory that people are invited to make a submission and leave a memento of those that they've lost or perhaps even become separated from during the pandemic. We'd be inviting people to write a message which would become part of the structure itself, or actually leave a memento at the structure.
My brother Pat thought about having a cremation initially, so I thought if I made an urn for him, that it would be in honour of what he really wanted.
That whole social interaction and the mixing of people, unfortunately that touch point has been lost, I suppose, in the club over the last 12 months or so. We'd like to think, I suppose, the mural is just a small token in terms of remembering those that passed.
The older hands and the younger hands, I thought, were a good symbolism of handing over all the knowledge and skills, or handing over just time.
So we came up with the idea of doing a call out to the public to submit a written piece just to share their experience. So this was compiled together. We had local musicians and local speakers, and it was filmed in a local forest here, Cool Park. So some people are sharing their experience of how difficult it was prior to their loved one dying and the limited time they had with them before they passed. Others are speaking about the time afterwards, and they were really missing our traditional ways of grieving. And maybe it was just reaching out to people and saying there is a platform if you want to share it. It allowed them to honour their loved one in a different way, and maybe offering a sense of support or connectivity or that cathartic feeling that comes with that.
I think it was enormously cathartic for us. I think when Joe passed, we were completely cut off from our usual way of expressing grief.
I suppose verify and validate that for people, that their experience was very real, and let them know that we've understood that level of suffering.
You don't have the capacity just on your own to deal with it.
Your grief with other people's grief is so healing and cathartic, to know you're not alone.
I feel like the process of making work can be as important an agent for change as the finished product.
I think it will be very healing for me.
This has gone a long way, I think, towards a healing, like I said, a recovery, the start of a recovery.
We would hope that after the actual installation that we would light the structure and the mementos that people have left as a sort of pyre to sort of mark the end of the passing of one phase and into the other one, but also as a beacon of hope for the future as well.